It's on.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to the first live broadcast of Cruising Off Duty. 1,000 subscriber mark.
Yes.
And I said we'd do this, and we have questions, many questions to answer. So if you want to ask questions on the fly, you can write them in the chat. We'll just go with the ones we already have had emails and questions from. Let's go with the first question about the one that came in just now on email.
Okay, so we were just asked, how did we meet? Okay, well, that's the way things are done these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a single mom for 12 years or so before we met Craig, and I kind of single or remained very picky just because I felt it was safer for the kids that way, and I waited till they were kind of beyond the age of vulnerability to really seriously seek out a serious relationship. And lucky me, he became single about the same time.
Much later in life.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things. A friend of mine, I was 40 at the time, and a friend of mine said, how am I going to meet somebody at this age? It's not like I'm going to go to a bar. And they just said they met their girlfriend online. So I tried that, and I met Janice quickly. So everything worked out well. So I didn't have to be single for too long, which was nice. It was good. So that was a question that just came in on email, and we were kind of caught off guard by that one. And it didn't seem to fit into any of the other question categories.
Not crazy related. But
yeah.
As you can see, we get along great.
Yes.
And we have a very good relationship. And yeah, we met the online, and I like that route because I could stay very picky. We really weed out the, undesirables.
Yeah. I'm looking over here every once in a while. There are comments, and from time to time I'll look over just to see what the comments are. Saying, hey, so obviously you can hear me. And it's so cool. So obviously
someone else asked the same question, how did we meet? So that's
there we go. So yeah, the good thing about us meeting is when I met Janice, I think I never, but I haven't mentioned this online. My ex wasn't really into the sailing life or going around the world. And so I got a motorcycle with my money, my disposable money back in the day, because my dream of sailing around the world was not going to happen. So I got a motorcycle with some fun money I had. And I still have that motorcycle today, but it doesn't get used very much anymore because the sailboat always wins when it's a sunny, nice day. And when I met Janice and I mentioned she'd never sailed at all, I think in my very first episode, I talk about this, how Janice, I brought it up kind of as a what if and a question whether she'd want to sail around the world when we retire. And she immediately jumped all over it and said, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, we're both Pisces, and I am a water baby. Like, I've spent my life camping, canoeing, and kayaking, and I love being on the lakes and rivers, and so it's me just fine.
Yeah, because skydivers are amazing people.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I gave that up, though.
Well, she did it all the way till last year.
Yeah, I was doing it up till last year.
Yeah, but now we're going to try and get into
scuba. I miss it. Like, right now it's spring, and I really want to do it, but I won't.
We're trying to save our money for scuba equipment. So, okay, let's get on to the questions, because we got a bunch of them, and I want to make sure we get through them.
This one?
Very, start at the very top.
Why did you start the channel, and what was the plan for where the channel would go?
Okay, so this was kind of a funny story, because I was doing with the Nepean Sailing Club, which is my, I was doing Facebook videos. I had a drone, I had a Q500 drone, and I was sailing the Ottawa River, and I thought, oh, I'll do some drone videography of the various anchorages, talk about the pros and cons of each, and what we like about each anchorage. And I was doing it on Facebook, and videos, you should do it on YouTube though, because Facebook was down-resing it, and it was very, grainy compared to the 4K footage that my drone could do. So I a YouTube channel just so I can start posting these videos on YouTube so people can see the full 4K quality. And then 100 subscribers, because I figured that's the only people that would go from the Ottawa River would want to watch it. And then within a month I had 2,000 subscribers, which blew my mind. And then I realized that most of my demographics shows that people were from all over the world, and a very small percentage were from Ottawa. And then a friend of mine said, they're not watching it because you're showing them the Ottawa River, they're watching it because they enjoy sailing and they enjoy getting to know you and Janice. So then from being an Ottawa River sailing tutorial, I guess, to being a more of our, what are we planning to do in the future with sailing, and eventually going around the world. So it was we're going to start talking about, obviously we're on bigger water now, so we're going to be exploring the Great Lakes and much more than obviously the Ottawa River. And then eventually when we retire, we're going to be getting a catamaran sailing around the world. So we're going to be more of like the SV Delos type thing, where you're going country to country and exploring new things along the way. So it should be really exciting when we get to that stage in our YouTube career. So that's that.
Connection is choppy, so sorry for that. we had everybody else in the house disconnect so that we would.
Let us know if it stays choppy. I can turn. I think I've got
people are saying it's choppy.
I've got the bandwidth as high as I can, so I don't know if I can do much more than that. So. Okay, so the next question is, you look at that, I'll look at this.
Okay.
What is the theme of the channel? Sailing, drones, or travel? Because I seem to flip around a bit. Obviously in the summer, it's a sailing channel. In the winter, when I didn't have the ability to sail because I don't live in a nice southern climate, I'm into drones, so I can still drone in the winter. So I was doing drone tutorials such as the Mavic Pro, which I got, which is my second drone. And then, of course, sailing and traveling go hand in hand. So when we had the BVI trip, it became sort of a sailing / travel channel. So it's kind of all three. Percent of my viewers are male, which just blows my mind. Is that much male? Where are all the women? But men love technology and toys, and I love technology and toys. So whenever I get a new piece of gear, show it to my mostly 96% predominantly male viewers. So I think most of you enjoy the drone stuff as well. So. So they're busy reading that. What's your plan for the channel going forward? We already talked about that. It's going to eventually be kind of a world sailing channel. Question I get more than any other question, it's what video editing software do you use? I use, everything I do is on a MacBook Pro. It is Final Cut Pro that I'm doing the editing on. I'm hearing somewhere. Anyways, I'm hearing sort of our own voice coming back.
Maybe that's it, yeah.
And which one do you prefer of the other? Well, I use all three of our cameras. We have a GH4, which is my DSLR camera. Then I just recently got the GH5, which is the next model up on the GH4, GH5 type of DSLR. And then we have our vlogging camera, which is the one Janice often uses because it's point and shoot. You don't really have to think too hard about like focusing it and all that stuff. So we have the G7X Mark II.
It's coming in. Here. So Lynn, our friend from the blue boat next to us at the Power Bleu, it was on the dock side. She's asking us what made you decide to go to the St. Lawrence? Well, we already had a few people. So this was, I kind of forced his hand. The club we were at before was a beautiful club and we loved it. It was great. Everybody there was great. But they had this rule that you had to dismast for the off season. And our boat was not designed for that. It was headache every time we had to take it off and put it back on, and I really felt like it was causing both than just leaving the mast up all winter. And so last fall we had a fiasco. The weather was terrible, and I said, this is the last time we're doing this. So on the Monday I made all the arrangements.
Without talking to me.
I called the marinas, I called the shipper, and I told them Monday night the boat's moving next week.
And then she called me and said, Jay, who's the local trucker guy that moves boats, Jay's coming on the weekend to move our boat to the St. Lawrence. I've already talked to the marina down there and we've got a spot. I'm like, okay. I was gonna go anyway, but I thought we'd go the following year. So it was just expedited a bit. So.
Yeah, like there were other things. Like the Ottawa we were at, Constance Bay a lot in our episodes from last summer, because really those are the only places to go that we were at all interested in. And so now we have a big variety of places to go and I'm excited. And now, rather than the same old thing.
Yeah, okay. So the next questions are into sailing stuff. How did you decide on the boat off duty? The boat we got, which is a Beneteau 351. It's a 35-foot Beneteau. It's 35 feet long, of course, and 12 feet wide. So it's very beamy. It's a cruising boat. So you can probably explain how we came up with that.
When he brought this up to me, we used to take the motorcycle to the local clubs and check out the boats and look at the ones that were for sale. And he showed me like the various sizes, and I really wasn't interested in a little tiny itty bitty boat that wasn't going to be comfortable. If I was going to do it, I wanted something comfortable and big enough to spend a weekend. And originally I had my eye on the Beneteau 37 one because it had a separate shower. Then we found out our club that we're at only accepted boats up to 36 feet. So we downgraded that to a 35-foot Beneteau. At 4 models of the exact same, like Beneteau 351s of the same period, and chose the one we've got.
I've decided. I was just happy to have a big boat. So
as long as it's on my terms.
Yeah, same with the next boat. It's going to be what she wants, not what I want. As long as I get to go sailing, I'm happy. What size boat do you need to comfortably cruise? So not minimum size that we would live with if we were doing what we're doing now. I guess my thought on it, I think we could live with a 26 foot as a minimum, maybe 25. Anything less than that, you sort of feel like you're camping. One boat that's popular around here is a 10s or 22, and it's not, it's a nice boat. Lots of people race them on the race nights, but it's not really a cruising boat. You don't really have a full galley. You don't have a lot of things. So if you're going to cook on the boat, you need a little, little butane burner, and you've got, you're all bent over. You can't stand straight up. So it feels more like camping is what we called it.
Yeah.
So I want a boat that I could stand up. I'm
Yes.
6 feet tall, and she's pretty tall for a woman, and so we needed a boat that was big enough. For us, the 35 was a perfect cottage,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't say you need to go that big
Yeah.
if you're just trying to get out on the water for like long weekends and stuff like that.
Oh, I'm gonna do one from over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so one was how does it feel to get 10,000 users so fast and get free items to test for you?
Yeah, the Freewell has been awesome. That's one thing, by the way. I've got the list of all the people who are in the draw. And I'm going to do a random number generator soon to pick the person. It's really been cool. Like I said, I got to 2,000 really quickly, blew my mind, and it just went up from there. And then when the winter time came, I thought the sailing stuff, because I couldn't sail, the channel was going to just peter out for a bit. But then I got into the drone stuff, and then the channel just grew even faster because everybody seemed to like the Mavic Pro drone tutorial stuff. So they just kept growing all winter. So it's been really impressive. We started around last July, beginning of last July. So
like not seriously either. You thought it
Yeah.
was just going to be for local viewers when you first started it. So another question was, is he going to drone this summer?
yeah.
We're going to cross the river to the States and drone as much as we want. And we'll go stay for a weekend, drone a little bit, and buy some booze and come back.
Yeah.
Because they don't have laws, and they even abolished
Well, they have
their,
laws, but they're
well,
not
I mean, they
nearly so
abolished
strict.
their registration rule to cross the river and fly your drone without consequence over the border.
Canada's restrictions are just crazy
Yeah.
over the top. They're interim rules, so they might go away or get watered down a bit. But right now they're just nuts. I will still take off from my boat, even and fly around and take shots of the St. Lawrence, even if we're on the Canadian side. My understanding is you can exempt yourself and you can exempt your own boat from that restriction of not being around people or boats because it's your boat.
Buildings.
And, so you can fly over your own house, you can fly over your own boat, you can fly over yourself. So
Yeah, so like on Lake Ontario, like
We
you
should
won't
be
be
fine.
within 3 football fields.
yeah, it's just really tough when you get on land because if you're in a park and there's people walking their dog and stuff, it's really hard to get 75 meters away. So should we go through some of these? Lots of positive comments,
Yeah.
which are, what do my coworkers think of me making videos while in uniform? I don't make videos while I'm in uniform. I did one
Yeah.
where I just talked about the channel
Yeah.
and stress relief and how sailing is an awesome stress reliever for when you're in a high pressure job like a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
And I did show myself in uniform, and my service really actually liked the video.
Yeah.
But
And the public affairs branch of the Ottawa Police approved it. as
yeah,
well.
somebody kept complaining that I shouldn't be on YouTube in uniform, and so my force finally decided just to stop that complaint, just take it down. So I took that episode down, but I haven't put any more episodes on since then. People have asked me, when am I going to do a police video where I'm showing what I do at work, and I can't do that. So unfortunately, I don't film on duty. So you check out that. I'll check out this. It's hard to read those and read this at the same time. Do you have? I took the Able Sail, or it was called a different name back then. It was a company that was doing sail training on keelboat, basic keelboats training before I bought my boat. I wanted to know what to do. After that, I took 2 seasons where I was helping race on other people's boats. And then after that, I felt comfortable enough that I knew how to sail that I wouldn't mind buying my own boat, because racing is fun, but it's sailing I want to do. I want to do more cruising in the future, not racing. So I wanted to have my own boat so I could just go out and enjoy it like a cottage and not be like buddy everywhere. And it's high pressure when you get into some crews are very, very high pressure. They're yelling and screaming at each other to do things faster, and that's not really the kind of sailing you want to do. Why do you think a catamaran is your next boat? This is for you.
Because I said so.
Janice
I
said so.
refuse to live on a monohull. It's okay for weekends, but I'm not going to live on one for years at a time. We went to the Annapolis Boat Show a few times, and we toured all the big monohulls and all the catamarans. And the second time we went, we didn't bother with the monohulls at all, because I want the galley up catamaran with the panoramic view and all the bright light. Like when it's bad weather, I want to be indoors looking out. I don't want to be cooped up down below. To me, when it's a crappy weekend and there's a couple of days in a row of foul weather and we're below, it feels like I'm trapped in a low basement, and it bums me out after a day. So yeah, the catamaran. I also want washer and dryer, and
new requirements,
yeah.
So it's not so simple. So
they have big bathrooms with like actual full-size showers, and
yeah. So one of the questions is further down, but I might as well talk about it now because we're talking about how, I'm sure a lot of you are watching this going, how are you going to be able to afford this cat? One of the questions is, how can you afford to sail around the world? Will you be keeping a land-based home? Everything. Yeah. I mean, everything. The house, the cars, the motorcycle, everything. There won't be anything that's tying us down to here other than her kids.
Yeah. So my kids will be our land-based home. We'll have them to stay with, and we're going to sell everything we have. He'll have his pension, and I'm going to have a lump sum in lieu of pension, which we're going to invest. He has a commerce degree from before he was a police officer, so he knows what he's doing investment-wise. So yeah. So
we'll invest our money. We'll live off my pension, and the boat value will be dependent on how much we can sell our house, cars. Amount of money that is how much we can spend on a boat.
I'm turning all red. I'm drinking rum. So
she's getting a little hot in the color. So yeah, whatever money we have is what we'll spend. We won't get a mortgage for our boat, so that's how we can afford it.
Yeah, we're going to pay what we have cash to pay. I don't want any debt whatsoever.
Okay, so our plan is to sail around the world when we retire. We will spend some time in the Caribbean at first, just to make sure we got all the bugs out of the boat, and then after that we'll start sailing around the world. Through South Pacific, around South Africa, that route, and back up. How long one of the questions is, you're sailing around the world, how many years do you think it will take you to do the trip?
So well, no, you can rush it in 3 years, but that's if you don't stop to see anything. Like, I want to be in Australia at least 6 months. I want to go to New Zealand. I want to spend at least a year in Asia, and at least a year in the Med. So we're going to spend 9 to 10 years doing this. And I'll be 48-ish, 47, 48-ish. He'll be
9 years older.
9 years older than that. And,
do the math.
So
no, I'll be 46. I'm sorry, 56, 57. Yeah. So I'll be young enough that we travel.
Yeah, we don't drink booze all the time.
Yeah, somebody's laughing at the rum Coke.
We're not heavy drinkers. Actually, we barely drink all winter. We drink in woody season only.
She wanted this to cool her nerves for this live event. So
anyway, we're pretty healthy people. Neither of us smoke. Neither of us abuse anything, and
so
we're only going to get
healthier. We're going to live to be 100. So it's got lots of time to sail.
Like, I want to stay physically capable of doing everything we intend to do.
Somebody asked how long I've been a police officer. It's been over 24 years I've been a police officer, so I got 6 more to go. Are you going to be chartering another catamaran in the Caribbean? And if so, would you explore other places like Puerto Rico and the surrounding islands? I must read that, so I'll answer the question. I should switch shares with you. Yeah, we would like to do that again. We had a great time. That's the best vacation we've ever had, that BVI trip. So if you haven't caught, there's about, what, I don't know, it must have been 6 or 7 episodes between our scuba certification, vacation, and then it was 6 or 7 episodes, and we had a great time. We'd love to do it again, but that was a really expensive vacation, and we can't afford to be doing that every winter. Like I said, if somebody has a catamaran and wants us to come and do a bunch of episodes on their boat, we're more than happy to fly and spend money that way, but we can't fly before for the scuba thing, get hotels pre and post the catamaran, and pay for the catamaran. It just added up to be a big chunk of money. Of course, we're trying to save towards getting the catamaran of our own in the not too distant future. So we'll probably get it in about 5 years. So we have 1 year where I'm still working and we own the cat, and we'll go and visit it in the winter time. So
one question is, will you carry insurance for around the world?
Yes. I think we have to, because a lot of the marinas require it. Not that we plan to be at a marina, but a lot of times if you do need to go into a marina, they will expect you to have insurance. Have to play it by ear. Some people argue you're probably save money to self-insure. Just put the money you would have put into a slush fund, into an account, separate account, and then when something unforeseen happens, you've got all that money that you would have spent on insurance to pay for it. So places that, like the Mediterranean, for sure, you can't go anywhere in the Mediterranean without having insurance. So it might be one of those things where we have it most of the time, but then other areas, if we're going to stay in some Polynesian island or somewhere where we don't need it for 6 months, maybe we'll turn it off. I'm not sure, but it all depends on how much it costs to have insurance. If it's crazy expensive and we're not really using it because we're staying in one spot, then it's hard to say. You have anything there, or should I go on to the next one? Okay.
Oh, does Ottawa Police have a Marine unit? Have you thought of applying to it?
Yes, they do have a Marine unit, but it's called the Marine Dive and Trail. And I just got my scuba certificate, and it's only the basic scuba. To be a Marine Dive and Trail officer, you have to be a commercial diver. So I don't have that skill. So even though I love boats and being on the water, I was not a commercial scuba diver. And they want you to be a scuba diver first. That's the hardest thing. And then you've got to then have, show that you have boat skills. So I have the boat skills. I didn't have the scuba diving stuff. I'd love to do that. Questions about drones. What drone have I had? What one do I have now? What one do I like the most? I had the Q500 4K as my first drone. Loved it. Mavic, because I wanted something to fold and take with me traveling, and I like that one even more. The Q500 was a more stable, slow drone, so it was very stable and took great video. The Mavic is way faster, but you have to do more things that you have to think about, like tap to focus and a bunch of other things that make it a lot harder to just intuitively fly and get good video. The Q500 is just an easy, basic, get it up in the air, fly around. It takes great video all the time. It's more of a GoPro camera. It's always in focus. There's no, you don't have to tap on areas on the screen to get it to focus, which is easier.
You think of the DJI Spark. We don't have one and haven't used one.
No, but I know what it is. It's a smaller version of the Mavic. If it was 250 grams, I would probably buy one, because that would meet the Canadian criteria for if it's 250 grams or less. You don't need to adhere to all these crazy laws that they have now. 300 grams, so it's just over the threshold, so it has the same rules as the Mavic. So yeah, and you're not saving anything getting a Spark over a Mavic. So I'll stick with my Mavic. Fly drones.
I'll learn how.
Yeah, she doesn't. I now that I have two drones, grab that big drone from behind you there. Let her use, because
it's no longer his baby.
It's no longer my baby.
Fly it anxiety.
This is the Q500. This
free.
is the big one that big compared to the Mavic that I had first. And at this point, I don't use dust. So from that standpoint.
So then, and if I crash it, he won't cry about it.
I won't cry.
Right.
So this summer, I definitely want to take her out. And now completely out of left field. My plan was this summer we're going to do a lot of droning, and I was going to take her and have her have the Q500. I'd have the Mavic. Then these new laws came out and just ruined everything. So it's made it very difficult. The new Canadian drone laws affected your ability to drone. It's affected me more than it would affect the average person, I think, because of the fact that I have a YouTube channel and I am a police officer. It kind of makes me
more motivated to really.
Well, I'm probably looked at closer than the average drone flyer who just flies on a Saturday afternoon because nobody knows what they're doing, and so therefore nobody's complaining. Yeah. But if I put an episode up showing me flying all over the place, cars and people underneath me or near me, I'm going to get all sorts of complaints in the comments, and then somebody's going to call Transport Canada, and then I'm going to be investigated. So it affects me more than it probably affects the average Canadian drone flyer. So
yeah, drink along with me. Are we supposed to drink along with
me? Yes. Every time, she hasn't said it yet, but if she says Costco at any point, that's a sailing thing for us.
I shop a lot of Costco.
She shops a lot of Costco. Whenever somebody says something positive about something she's wearing or something she's bought, she's like, I got it at Costco, and everybody drinks because she says it about 10 times a night. So you go with that. If you don't see something, I'll go with the motorcycle questions. Motorcycle questions. This summer, a lot more down to the boat. My boat used to be 10 minutes away from where we live. And because of that, there was no reason to ride the motorcycle. It's not worth getting all geared up to ride 10 minutes. Now I'm probably by motorcycle, going backwards, I'm 2.5 hours away from my boat. So I will have plenty of opportunities to ride my motorcycle. And when I do, I'll make episodes where I include the motorcycle. I have a Harley-Davidson V-Rod. I've had it since the first year it came out in 2000. I've had it for a long time. So it gets neglected, though, since I got the sailboat 6 years ago.
We went on a couple of long trips before we got the sailboat. Like we went to Lake Placid. We did like a 3-day trip, and I wanted to die. It's just not very comfortable. I'm okay with it for a couple of hours, but like I don't know, I have an old neck injury and I already have horrendous knee arthritis. So having the knees at a more than 90-degree angle for long rides after a while.
Yeah.
So, and the helmet is heavy and hurts my neck. So anyway.
She's good for short rides, but I can't take her like 2-3 hours.
We can look good on it for short periods.
Ride around in town, that's fine. She doesn't want to go all the way from here to Kingston.
Yeah.
Bike, or if not, does she like riding on the back? She does not have her own bike. She likes riding on the bike.
For like maximum 2 hours.
Probably maximum an hour and a bit.
Okay.
Because after that, she starts to
Hour break, another hour.
Yeah, an hour and then break and then an hour. Yeah. So, you know, she doesn't own her own bike. I don't think she would get the use out of it if she did.
I wouldn't. Well, I mean, obviously, skydiving is actually an expensive hobby. And doing that as a single mom, it was kind of, I would have done it a lot more and I would have bought my own gear. But a set of used gear would be $5,000. And that's just not in a single mom's budget. Earlier, what we do if we won $1 million, we'd buy that great boat. I would buy skydiving gear. I would skydive as much as I want. And then when he's at work, because he's
if we had $1 million,
yeah.
I'd retire now.
Yeah, but then I could bring the skydiving gear and skydive anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, true. Because if we had that problem of having too much money, that would be something we could do. Yeah, these questions, the ones that I pre-wrote. So, yeah. Oh, do the draw. So here I have, just so you can all see it. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. I have 80 names or 80 entries. So what we're doing, this is for the $99 Freewell gear. Oh, speaking of Freewell gear, they just grab a couple of those things from behind it. They sent me stuff and it just came today. Some of you mentioned I didn't even know they sold this. They mentioned and said they want what they wanted, the hashtag what they wanted. Some people started saying snorkel stuff, and I didn't even know Freewell did snorkel. Went online, and sure enough, they have snorkel gear. And so I asked Harry, who's been awesome. I said, hey, if you ever have a chance, you want me to test snorkel stuff, use it.
This is all the gifts he got today.
I'll use it, on the St. Lawrence. Well, doesn't he go overboard? He sent 2 of these, one blue and one pink.
Yeah.
Show the pink one. This is the one I opened first, which kind of scared me because I thought, is this a joke? Because I opened up the very first kit and it was this. I thought, oh my God, please don't send me 2 pink ones because I will not be demonstrating that on YouTube. But luckily he sent me a blue one.
A medium pink for me and a large.
Yeah. So Harry at Freewell's been awesome. We don't get paid by him, but he sends me gear all the time. I don't think there's too many things that they sell that he hasn't sent me already. But so long and short, there's a bunch of good stuff that I'll have to do a proper episode on once we can actually swim. And as you've seen from the episode,
it's kind of cold in the water right now.
Freezing cold.
We have to buy
the water is not even close to swimmable. So when I do, I'll show you masks so I can use my GoPro. And so Freewell's been awesome. They're giving away $100 to whomever.
Can I not show the items?
Did you not show them?
Go
one more time. So I'm going to get the random number generator here. And what it's going to be is 1 in 80. Those are the people. Yeah, I'll put it right side up. There we are.
It looked like something else.
It's a full face snorkel mask. And this is one of these carbon fiber handles for your GoPro that has a trigger underwater. So anyways, she's been drinking. Not even that much, one drink. Okay, so I've got the random number generator set to, I don't know if you can see it there. Whatever. It's between 1 and 80. So I'm going to hit it now. Janice is going to read it out.
Coming up? Okay.
There we go. Number 25.
Ooh, 25. You are Underdonk.
Alan Underdonk. Yep. So here's what's going to happen. Alan, if you're seeing this, this episode's going to end up being up later as a regular episode that people can watch. Alan, if you watch it on the after the fact episode, send me an email at cruisingoffduty@gmail.com. We'll get your information. I'll send that on to Harry at Freewell, and then you can talk to Harry after that about getting whatever you want off the website sent to you free of charge by Freewell. So thank you, Freewell, for sending that along to Alan. So unless there's any more questions, we're probably going to close this down. Freewell is cool for doing this for you. Yes,
somebody's recommending Screech rum. I'll try it.
Oh, Screech, that's the stuff that you won't like. She doesn't like spice rum.
I'm a big baby when it comes
to that.
I like amber rum. What we're drinking right now is Appleton's, which I greatly enjoy.
Yeah.
But spiced, I don't like spicy anything really. Like he's in Newfoundland. My parents are in Newfoundland right now on a 6-week road trip with my aunt, and they're saying that it's 2 degrees and stuff, and they were going to camp the whole 6 weeks.
We thought we had it bad.
I'm like, wait, maybe in the summer. Cool, draw time. Okay, got the draw.
107 thing about the FCC, that's an American thing. That's not here in Canada. Now, theoretically, some people say that if you're making even like 1 penny off of flying, you're supposed to get a commercial license, but I don't consider YouTube a moneymaker. I lose so much money making this channel. So I love the patrons that help support it a bit, and it does definitely help the cost. But with all the camera gear and other stuff I've spent and drones, it is definitely not a moneymaker for me to do this channel. So I don't consider myself commercial because I fly occasionally to put some footage within one of my episodes. that's going to be mostly about sailing. So it's almost like just one of my cameras is the way I treat it. It's like I've got 3 cameras and then I've got 1/4 camera that floats. There's a lot of positive comments.
Yeah.
So anyways, I guess that's it. And I don't want to keep this going too long. So
yeah, because then it's going to be uploaded.
Yeah, it's going to be another episode, and that's already probably been,
want to check it out.
It's been 30 minutes. Yeah. So, okay, I hope you guys had fun watching this. We had fun doing it.
Yeah.
We were a little nervous. She got a little red from being nervous, I think, but and rummy. So that's it for now. So I guess until next time, this is Craig and Janice signing off.
Bye.
Wishing you safe cruising.